Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about diets. Uh, Everyone's always talking about special diets and restricting and limiting certain types of foods or following a certain fad. And I get this question a lot as a physician. Do diets work? Very simple question, right? Do diets work? Typically, for most patients, the answer is no. So in this video, we're going to talk about why that is and what does work. If diets don't work, what do you do? You're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get into better shape, you want to be healthier, which is very good and very important. But there's just so many untruths out there about diets and so many promotions of things like the paleo diet, for example. And I would never say a particular diet is wrong, but let's talk about why there's such a problem with diets. So, number one, you can see here on the screen, diets are often too complicated. There could be pages and pages of information, sometimes books worth of information about a particular diet. That's too complicated. If the recipes have like 30 ingredients and you have to go to a special store to buy half of those ingredients, it's too complicated. If you haven't even heard of a lot of the ingredients that are in the recipes for a particular diet, what are the chances you're going to stick to that diet? Okay, so you've never heard of some of the stuff that's in the recipe. You have to go to a special store to even find the stuff that you need. And then you may not know how to prepare it because you've never used it before. It's too complicated. It's just too complicated, okay? That's, I think, the biggest problem that I see with diets. And anytime a diet has a book or books that you have to go through, and the recipes have literally dozens of ingredients, and and as I said, you don't even know what some of them are or where to find them, too complicated. You'll never stick with it. And it's not because you have failed or because you're weak or because you did something wrong. It's just too complicated. And who has the time? Who has the energy? It's hard enough to try to lose weight without having all those complicating factors. Number two, diets are often too restrictive, okay? And this ties in with number three. When you feel deprived, you don't feel your best. Diets are too restrictive. When you feel deprived, you do not feel your best. Okay? So what do? If the diet is too complicated, too restrictive, you feel deprived, you feel frustrated, you feel like you can't even figure out what the recipes are, there's too many books to read, it's exhausting, but you need to lose weight. Your doctor has told you your BMI is too high, your body mass index is too high, you need to lose weight. Your doctor has said maybe your blood sugars are borderline diabetic, or maybe your blood pressure is too high, or some combination of those things. Your cholesterol may be too high. You have to lose weight. You have to make a change. So what do? These complicated, restrictive, frustrating diets are not the answer. So let's talk about what is. And you can see here, number one, keep it simple. Keep it simple. What do I mean by that? When you are making changes in your diet, the simplest thing to do is to figure out the highest calorie items that you are consuming. So for example, if you're consuming a lot of sugary soda, or candy bars or potato chips. That's right there. Those are high calorie, high fat in the case of the candy bars and potato chips, high sugar in the case of the soda and the candy bars. Those items have to go. If you're trying to lose weight, you can't have sugary sodas, you can't have candy, you can't have potato chips. And that's a very simple list to make. So you just go through and make a list. What do I eat every day? What do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for lunch? What do you eat for dinner? What do you eat in between meals? What do you eat before bed? And you simply make a list of all the things that you eat and go through, Google the calorie counts on these things or look at the actual containers of these items and it'll tell you the calories and the fat and the sugar. And you want to find the items in your pantry, in your refrigerator, in your diet that are the highest calorie, highest sugar, highest fat, and you want to eliminate them. And to keep it simple, you start one at a time. You don't try to eliminate everything at once. You start one at a time. So you say, for the next 7 days, I'm not going to have any sugary soda. And then when you get to the end of that 7 days, you can say, for the next 7 days, I'm going to not have any sugary soda, and I'm not going to have any potato chips. So now you're at 14 days. And then for the third set of 7 days, you can say, now I'm going to add candy bars and other candy into the mix. So now at 21 days, you're at no sugary soda, no potato chips, and no candy. So in the span of 21 days, you've eliminated thousands and thousands of calories from your diet. And you didn't have to use any fancy recipe books or go to any fancy grocery stores or use any ingredients that you never heard of. All you had to do was make simple changes. Okay? So keep it simple. Start very, very simple and keep it simple all the way through, and you will have much greater success. Number 2, moderation in all things. What does that mean? Well, if you are one of those people, as I am, who can potentially, sorry about that. If you're one of those people who could potentially overeat certain items, maybe you overeat potato chips, or you overeat cookies, or you overeat ice cream. Portion control, setting restrictions and portion control is really going to help you. So how do you do that? Let's say you really have a craving for some potato chips, but you know you shouldn't be eating them because you're trying to lose weight. You can take a small handful of potato chips, and I mean small handful, not a big, huge handful. A small handful of potato chips, set them on a napkin or a small plate, take them to wherever you're eating, and put the bag away. Do not bring the bag of chips to the couch in front of the television. Take out a few chips, put them on a napkin or on a plate, put the bag of chips away where you can't see it, and then go to another part of your home to eat those small few bit of chips. And you could do that over and over again with everything. And that's how you practice moderation. That's how you control your consumption and your intake of these items. Okay, number 3, exercise works. That's just a fact, guys. And it can be fun. And I speak as someone, even though I'm a doctor, I hated exercise. I never wanted to exercise in my life. But I started with something that I knew I would like. And that was walking outside at a park. Walking outside at a park. It's so simple. You can drive to the park. You can walk to the park if you live close enough to it. And you have to find an exercise that works for you. If you don't like walking at a park, you're not going to go walk at a park. You have to like it. If you don't like jogging, you're not going to jog. If you don't like aerobics, you're not going to do aerobics. If you don't like swimming, you're not going to swim. Okay? You have to find an exercise that you enjoy. It can be walking, swimming, jogging, aerobics, yoga. There are endless numbers of exercises. You can do weight exercises. You can do body weight exercises. You can do Pilates. It goes on and on. But you have to test and sample and try things until you figure out what you like doing. A great example is if you like to play basketball, which Jennifer Hudson, the celebrity singer, lost a lot of weight playing basketball. Why did that work for her? She loves basketball. And she just knew she was never going to exercise if she didn't like it. So she played a ton of basketball, lost a ton of weight, and kept it off because she enjoyed the exercise that she was doing. Okay? You have to find what works for you. You have to enjoy it, or I can promise you, you'll never stick to it. So if you enjoy power walking, you should power walk. If you enjoy yoga, you should do yoga. Don't let anybody tell you that's not enough, or that's not good enough, or that's not going to allow you to lose enough weight. Don't let them tell you that. Do what works for you. Okay? Exercise, when you stick to it and you commit to it and you do it consistently at least 3 or 4 times a week for at least 30 minutes at a time, it works. You will lose weight. How much weight you lose depends on all the other factors, how much you're eating, how much you're controlling your diet, and how much exercise you are doing, and whether or not you are committed to that exercise. If you commit and you love doing it, exercise works. It can be a lot of fun, and you will get healthier. You will feel better. The other thing that exercise does, it helps you to feel better mentally and emotionally. And when you feel better mentally and emotionally, guess what happens? You don't crave junk food. You don't crave sugar. You feel so much better. So exercise not only works physically, but also works mentally and emotionally. And when you commit to it and stick with it, you will find not only are you feeling better physically, but you're feeling better emotionally and mentally. Exercise does wonders for depression and anxiety. I've seen it many, many times with patients, with family members, with friends. They can't believe the benefits of exercise to their mental health. They're like shocked by it because it's that profound, okay? It helps your mental health more than I can describe to exercise, okay? Number 4, find what works for you, not for everyone else, okay? Find what works for you, not for everyone else. That's true for a diet. Again, you're not really on a diet. You're just making changes in your habits with food. And with exercise, the same thing that I just talked about. Find what works for you in terms of your diet and find what works for you in terms of exercise. Don't focus on what everybody else is doing. Number 5, focus on simple, small changes, which we've already talked about. Number 6, make those simple, small changes into habits. Okay, sorry if the screen is cutting off some of these words here. I'm still learning the technology for this, so bear with me. But focus on simple, small changes in your diet and in exercise. So let's go through some examples. Simple, small change. What we talked about earlier, cutting out potato chips, cutting out candy bars, cutting out sugary soda, one at a time. Portion control. You have a craving for chips? You can have some chips. Just a very small amount of chips, put on a plate, separate from the bag, put the bag away, don't go back anywhere near the bag, and take the chips somewhere else in your home to eat. And don't go back and get any more. Same thing with exercise.